Okay, so we're gonna make a really neat dish. It's a grilled shrimp on rosemary skewers with rosemary white beans and sauteed Swiss chard. So there's three components that we wanna work with. The first one are cooking the beans, and there's a couple things I wanna talk about. First of all, I have two different white beans that we could use. One is a cannellini bean, which is really nice, creamy, good texture, and the other one is a large butter bean. So the only difference really is size and texture. But in terms of the cooking method, both of them, what I want to do is soak overnight in cold water before I start cooking the next day. It's not necessary to soak overnight. We can do the quick soak method, which is adding the dried beans to a pot with water and bringing it to a boil and turning off the heat and letting it sit for an hour. That would be the quick soak method, and then we'd be ready to go into cooking the beans. So the first step in cooking the beans after we've soaked them is to cover them with hot water. And if we take a look at this pot, I have a rosemary sprig, bay, a little bit of black pepper, and some red pepper flakes. And I bring it to a simmer, and I simmer for about an hour to an hour and a half until the beans are tender. I don't want to add any salt until the very end of the cooking the beans, because adding the salt will toughen the skins and prevent the beans from getting nice and creamy. They'll kind of be an undercooked bean if we add salt too early. So another important concept on cooking these beans is keeping it covered with hot water the whole time. So if the beans absorb some of the moisture, we want to add hot water to the pot while it's cooking. If you add cold water, it stops the cooking process and you have a kind of a crunchy bean. So when we're done, they're nice, good texture. We add the salt, we take it off the heat, and this is kind of where I'm at right now, about to add the salt. Want to make sure that they're always partially submerged in moisture so that they don't dry out and so that they actually cook evenly. So we're at the point we'll add the salt, turn it off the heat, and this can be done 3 or 4 days ahead of time. Make sure you cool in the liquid and store in the liquid. So when we're ready to serve this, basically I'm going to take the beans out with the slotted spoon, and that will be our component. Okay, let's take a look at the rest of the ingredients on this dish. So we're going to do a sauteed Swiss chard. And I like to use garlic, shallots, olive oil, Swiss chard, and finishing it in the very end with a little bit of white wine. Swiss chard takes a little bit longer to cook than spinach, so it's sometimes known as braised Swiss chard. I have green Swiss chard. You can use rainbow or red. They're all in the family of kind of a braising green. So we're going to work on prepping those ingredients. And then I have the shrimp. What I want to do with the shrimp is these are already marinating in a mixture of thyme, olive oil, and rosemary. And the concept is I want to leave the tail on for presentation. You may take the tail off, and you could put it on wooden skewers, but I like to put it on rosemary skewers. So I'm just going out to the garden, picking rosemary, and taking the bottom few inches off of it. Then I'm going to take my knife and actually kind of cut it so that I have a spear. So then I'll be able to skewer my shrimp, and that's the third component. So the things that we do at the last second are cooking the shrimp and braising the chard. So we're going to actually, we've got our garlic and our shallot ready. We're going to cook the chard. So as the chard is cooking, it takes about 10 minutes. I'll skewer the shrimp and grill the shrimp. So all three components should come together about the same time. So the first step is about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And I'm going to go in with my shallots and garlic at the same time. And I'm going to cook it until the garlic just starts to get a little bit of color. And I'm doing it on kind of medium-low heat so I don't burn the garlic. Once I get my light color, then I'll add my Swiss chard. Let's take a look at the shrimp. So I've started with 1 skewer here, and I'm going to grill 2 of the shrimp. And I'm basically going to look at the size of the plate that I'm going to present on. So that's my guideline on how big I'm going to make my skewers. So when doing the shrimp, I want to kind of go in and I want to keep them tight together so that when I cook them, they cook evenly. All the while keeping an eye on my garlic. All right, I'm going to season, my grill is warm. I'm going to season my shrimp here at the last second. I'll grill them for about 3 minutes on one side, turn them for a mark, and flip them to the back side. I want to keep these a little under, because when they come off the heat, there's going to continue cooking. And we've all had shrimp that have been kind of hard and rubbery. I want these to kind of still be moist in the center. So I'm going to actually be able to see the side of it to make sure that I'm still a little under when I'm taking them off the heat. All right, our beans are ready to serve. They've sat here with a little bit of the salt to infuse the flavor. And I'll take this off the heat and focus on our Swiss chard. So we can see that our shallots are a little translucent. Our garlic is just starting to get some color. This is my sign to add my Swiss chard. I'm seasoning with a small amount of salt, and not just for flavor. Salt draws out moisture. So whenever I'm sauteing mushrooms or spinach or Swiss chard, I add the salt in the beginning and it draws out the moisture. So these will cook down for about 3 or 4 minutes, and the shrimp should be done in about 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll bring this dish together next. Okay, so coming back, our chard is cooked down a little bit. I've got some nice marks on one side of my shrimp. Let me turn my shrimp. So about another 3 minutes on this one side. And this is cooking down. There's a point that you know your chard is done by the texture of it. So this piece still is kind of undercooked, and then this piece is done. So it's kind of like spinach. When it's wilted, it just takes a little bit longer. All right, and then I'll be presenting this dish with my rosemary cannellini beans. And I consider this dish more of an appetizer. It can be an entree, but the flavor components, the shrimp are pretty rich. The beans have a nice hardiness to them, and the Swiss chard. So I kind of serve this as an appetizer. It can be turned into an entree. I'm taking a look at my chard. I want to look at the pan, and I have these dark areas where the garlic is starting to caramelize, which is good. And now is the time to finish with my white wine. It kind of deglazes the pan, which cooks up all the great flavor. My shrimp is looking great. We'll cook off that alcohol. So all 3 components are ready to go. So our chard is down first, perfectly cooked and seasoned. Our cannellini beans. And then we'll finish with our grilled shrimp. So here we have it. Rosemary grilled shrimp on cannellini beans with braised Swiss chard. Enjoy.